Sagittarius. Nothing will ever be the same. They wanted to destroy you, but you will rise to the top. Have you ever felt like someone, or maybe life itself, was trying to hold you down, like no matter how much you gave, it was never enough? That no matter how brightly your light shone, someone out there wanted to dim it? If you're Sagittarius, or even just someone who carries that wild, brave Sagittarian fire inside, this message has found you for a reason. And I promise you it will change something deep inside you. Welcome to Zodiac Wisdom, where I, Sophia, your astrologer and soul guide, hold sacred space for healing, truth, and the kind of transformation that doesn't just shift your day, it shifts your life. If you're new here, make yourself at home. Go ahead and tap like, subscribe, or share this video with someone who might need this. It's not just an algorithmic act, it's a declaration. I'm ready to rise. Because what's coming for Sagittarius isn't ordinary. It's not just a plot twist. It's a soul-level pivot. In this video, I'll reveal what's shifting in your energy, why recent pain was never punishment, and how an unseen force has been guiding you through every trial. And if you stay with me until the end, I promise you'll understand why everything had to happen exactly as it did. So get comfortable. Get honest with yourself. Let's walk into this next chapter together. Because what you're about to hear might just change how you see yourself forever. And if any part of this message touches your heart, leave a comment below and let the world know. I'm still here. And I'm not done yet. Gate 1: Money and Career. The rise from the ashes. Sagittarius, you've always known that freedom is your oxygen. You crave space, mental, emotional, spiritual, to expand. But what happens when the very things you've given your all to, your job, your effort, your ideas, start to feel like cages instead of wings? Lately you've been sensing it. That slow-burning restlessness. That subtle voice that says, I can't keep doing this the same way. It's not burnout. It's your soul refusing to be silenced any longer. You've worked hard, Sagittarius. So hard. You've shown up on time, gone the extra mile, picked yourself back up from disappointments without anyone cheering for you. Maybe you were the one who stayed late at the office after everyone left. The one who smiled even when your pitch got rejected. The one who kept quiet when someone else took credit for your work. You didn't complain. You kept going. And yet, part of you has quietly wondered, does anyone see how much I've given? The truth? The universe saw. The universe recorded every effort, every setback, every time you clapped for others even when no one clapped for you. And now finally it's about to answer. There is a shift in your professional and financial path, Sagittarius, but it won't come through struggle. Not this time. It will come when you stop trying to prove yourself to a system, a structure, or a person that was never designed to understand your fire. This is a season of redirection, not rejection. If something is falling apart, an opportunity slipping through, a partnership dissolving, a job suddenly feeling suffocating, it's not failure. It's divine intervention. Let me offer a real-life example. A Sagittarius client of mine spent 5 years building her online coaching brand. For the first 3, she made almost nothing. Friends told her to quit. Her partner doubted her. But she kept going, not from ego but from alignment. In the 4th year, one viral video changed everything. Suddenly, the years of invisible effort became visible impact. Within 18 months, she had paid off all her debt, moved to Bali, and now teaches others how to trust their own intuitive path. Your story doesn't have to look the same, but the energy behind it is identical. Silent effort, divine breakthrough. And here's what's coming. A conversation that opens a door you never saw coming. A chance to take your creativity, your wisdom, your natural Sagittarian gift for storytelling or guiding others, and make real, sustainable income from it. It might start small, a freelance offer, a strange suggestion from a friend, an idea you once shelved because it felt too risky. But this time the universe is different. It's ready to support you. What blocks the flow is not luck or lack of talent. It's guilt. Guilt about receiving. Guilt about success. A buried belief that says, if I win, someone else must lose. But Sagittarius, your win is a collective win. When you rise, you lift everyone around you. The world needs more people like you in positions of leadership, influence, and abundance, because you lead with vision, not control. With expansion, not ego. Start rewriting the script. Instead of I want to be financially free, say, I am building a life that honors both my truth and my needs. Instead of, I'm not sure if I can make this dream profitable, say, I trust that what's true for me will be supported. Speak it. Live it. Write it down. Because this is not a time to hesitate. The dates 4, 13, and 26 in the coming 2 months are significant. They carry an energetic surge. Doors may open, yes, but they require your yes in return. Not a half-hearted maybe. A full unapologetic yes. Mark them. Watch for intuitive hits. Watch for financial offers or job shifts that ask you to lead with authenticity instead of conformity. And remember, the Sagittarius who once thought they had to fight for crumbs is gone. The version rising now doesn't chase approval. They follow alignment. And from that space, everything shifts: money, purpose, and power, not from force but from deep, unwavering belief. Gate 2, letting go. Not a collapse but a rebirth. Sagittarius, you've always been the archer. Eyes fixed on the horizon, chasing the next truth, the next freedom. But what happens when your arrow points back at your own heart? When it becomes clear that to move forward, you must let go of something or someone you once thought you'd never lose. Let's get honest. You've carried endings that weren't clean, chapters that didn't get closure. Maybe there was no big goodbye, no apology, no final conversation. Just distance. Just silence. Just you alone, staring at the ashes of something that once felt sacred. This isn't just about romantic endings. Could be the friend who stopped calling, the dream job that turned toxic, the belief that you had to always be strong or always be in motion. And if you're reading this with a tightness in your chest, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Here's the truth no one says out loud. Letting go isn't always about healing. Sometimes it's about honoring the version of you that fought, that hoped, that gave it your all. And honoring that you've outgrown what once sustained you. Recently, a Sagittarius woman in her 30s came to me during a reading. She had just ended a long-term relationship. No big betrayal. No huge drama. Just the realization that she had stayed too long trying to make something work that had stopped working for her soul. She cried, not out of regret, but out of grief for the version of herself that had been willing to settle. This is the fire you're in, Sagittarius. The fire that doesn't burn you down. It burns away what no longer belongs to you. You may feel like everything is shifting too fast. Like you're standing in the middle of a crumbling foundation with nothing solid beneath your feet. But what if that's not a threat? What if that's liberation? The collapse of the old so the new can finally breathe? Think of the Tower card in tarot. Not a punishment but a release. A sacred undoing. And you, my dear Sagittarius, are ready. Some of you are ending patterns passed down through generations. Overgiving, staying quiet to keep the peace, making yourself smaller so others can shine. Others are walking away from lovers who couldn't meet your depth. From careers that pay well but rob your joy. From friendships that only exist when you're the one doing all the reaching out. You've outgrown the roles you were assigned. The title of the strong one. The one who always has it together. The one who never breaks. You're allowed to shed those labels now. They served you once. But your soul is asking for a softer kind of strength. One that allows you to feel. To rest. To not explain yourself every time you say no. There is grief in letting go, yes. But there is also oxygen. Breath. Space. In Sagittarius, you thrive in wide open space. So here's your moment. Write the goodbye letter. Not to them. To the version of you that kept fighting for crumbs. That tolerated what dimmed your fire. That kept trying to be chosen by people who never knew how to value light like yours. Say thank you. Then say goodbye. And when the emptiness creeps in, as it will, don't fill it out of panic. Don't reach for distractions or rebound decisions or false comfort. Sit with the ache. Let it teach you something. You are not broken. You are breaking open. Your new chapter won't look like the old one. It won't be built on proving or pleasing. It will be built on presence. On peace. On power that doesn't scream but stands steady. There may still be days when you miss what you left. That's normal. But don't confuse nostalgia with soul alignment. Just because something made you feel seen once doesn't mean it's meant to walk with you now. You're not losing, Sagittarius. You're releasing. And that's a victory. The full moon closest to your birthday this year will be a portal. A clean, energetic reset. Write down what you're ready to lay to rest. Burn it safely. Scatter the ashes. Let the act be a symbol. You are no longer begging life to give you what you've always deserved. You are no longer asking for permission to be free. You are already free. Gate 3 Soul Love. Not everyone can handle the way you love, Sagittarius. Sagittarius, for all your boldness and wanderlust, there is a side of you that very few ever truly see, the part that loves with an almost spiritual intensity. You don't fall in love halfway. You leap. You dive. You believe in the kind of connection that goes beyond logic, beyond time, beyond this lifetime even. But here's the catch. Not everyone can hold that kind of love. Not everyone can meet you at that depth. You've likely been told you're too much, too intense, too idealistic, too hopeful. But what they didn't realize is, your love is not fragile. It's fire. It doesn't flicker. It burns. And when you give it whole. You give it raw. You give it with the unshakable belief that two souls can grow together instead of just orbiting each other. But here's the wound. Somewhere in your past, you loved someone who couldn't hold it. Maybe they loved the idea of you, the freedom, the glow, the mystery, but not the reality of your soul. Not the parts that demand honesty, movement, evolution. They tried to keep you small, to contain your spirit in something domestic, something predictable. And when you wouldn't shrink, they left. Or worse, they stayed but asked you to dim yourself down. That moment right there, that's the scar. That's why you became more guarded, more selective, more quiet about what your heart truly wants. But your soul hasn't stopped hoping. It's just learned to whisper instead of shout. Sagittarius, if you've been wondering whether the universe still remembers your love story, this is your answer. Yes. Yes, it does. And yes, there is someone out there who speaks your language fluently. But first you must return to your own dialect. You must stop performing emotional fluency in a language that's not yours just to be loved. You must stop rewriting your needs to fit someone else's story. Let me tell you about a Sagittarius man I once worked with. He was vibrant, always laughing, full of ideas. But when we sat down to read his chart, the first thing he admitted was, "I've never felt truly met." On the surface he had it all: charisma, a partner, even success, but inside he was lonely. Because no one ever asked how his soul was doing. No one wanted to explore the stars with him, or sit in silence and feel the truth of a moment without filling it with noise. He told me, "I'm done settling for being admired. I want to be understood." That's the shift you're in now too. You're no longer magnetized to surface-level connections. You crave depth, the kind of love that doesn't just hold your body, but holds your becoming. The kind of partner who doesn't flinch when you say, "I want to build something sacred. I want to feel God in this love." And yes, that kind of love is rare. But it's not impossible. In fact, the energy in your chart this year is aligning to bring it closer than ever. Jupiter, your ruling planet, is preparing to link with Venus and Uranus, creating a rare trifecta of love, expansion, and unexpected alignment. Which means, the next connection that enters your life may come suddenly, but it won't feel rushed. It will feel inevitable. Pay attention to encounters that feel strangely familiar. Dreams that repeat. Songs that won't leave your head. These are not accidents. They are signals. And when this person appears, it won't be someone who completes you. You're already whole. They will be someone who reflects you. A fellow seeker. A soul who sees your fire and says, "Let's run toward it together." But before they arrive, or if they're already in your life, you must make one promise to yourself. I will not abandon my truth just to keep someone from leaving. If they're meant to stay, your truth will be their magnet. Soul love doesn't always arrive dressed in fireworks. Sometimes it's a quiet knowing, a conversation that feels like home, a shared silence that feels like music. And sometimes, yes, it comes in unexpected form. Maybe they're not your usual type, maybe they live across oceans, maybe they show up just when you've decided to stop looking. But the recognition will be unmistakable. And when it comes, you'll know. You'll feel it in your chest, like a door you didn't know existed suddenly swinging open. You won't need to force it, chase it, explain it. It will unfold like breath, like truth, like destiny coming home. Until then, Sagittarius, love yourself like you are already loved the way you deserve to be. Light candles for your own joy. Write letters to the kind of relationship you know is possible. Dance alone, not because you're lonely, but because your spirit is worth celebrating. The more you treat your love like it's sacred, the more the universe will mirror that reverence back to you. You are not too much. You are just waiting for someone who wants to feel that much too. Conclusion: you were never meant to burn out just to be seen, Sagittarius. So here you are, Sagittarius, at the edge of the old world and the cusp of a new one. You've been tested, not just in obvious ways but in silent battles that no one else knew you were fighting. You've carried dreams too big for your current reality, feelings too deep for casual conversations, and a kind of fire in your heart that the world didn't always know how to receive. But that fire, your fire, was never the problem. The problem was you were surrounded by people who feared being burned instead of choosing to walk with you through the light. Now you know. This entire season of your life has been preparing you not to settle, not to shrink, but to step into alignment with your soul's blueprint. And as you do, everything changes. The energy shifts. What no longer belongs starts to fall away. The things you used to chase start finding their way back to you. This isn't about luck. This is about resonance. You are no longer living to survive. You're here to create, to expand, to love like it's your birthright, because it is. You don't need to explain your vision to everyone. You don't need to convince anyone of your value. The ones who are meant to walk this new chapter with you, they'll just get it. They'll feel it. Just like you're feeling this now. If this journey we've walked together touched something in you, if even a single line whispered yes inside your heart, don't let that moment dissolve into silence. Leave a sign, a word, a sentence, something your future self will look back on and say, "That was when I said yes to myself." Click like, not as a favor to me, but as a pact with your own healing. Subscribe not to follow, but to stay reminded that the universe is still speaking, still guiding, still walking beside you every step of the way. Because Sagittarius, the path you're on now, this isn't the end of something. This is the beginning. A beginning that honors everything you've been through. A beginning where you rise not because you've been lucky, but because you've finally chosen not to turn away from your truth. And that, dear one, is how miracles unfold.